Well, you beat me. You can beat me now, but then I would dunk on you.
He's a real athlete, isn't he?
But athlete. You ever heard the name Donald Corey, Olympic star? Well, he and I would compete in high school, and if you go back as far as 1966, I beat him in long jump. I jumped 21 feet 7 inches. My son owns the high jump record at Claremont College for the last 14 years. He's been over 7 foot. He owns the hop, step, and jump record. My grandson is the 36th gymnast in his class in all of America. And
It's
he's
in the
only 12
genes,
years.
isn't it?
My mother was high jump champion.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's nature and nurture.
You heard it first here.
Yeah.
My
Really,
God.
that's the truth.
My
That's
God.
the truth.
How do you stay relevant the way you
Well, one of the things about staying relevant, and I think it's very important, is that on Saturdays I mentor young pastors, and they come when I'm studying, and we talk about what they're going to preach in the morning. And it is interesting that while I'm mentoring them, and even when we sit around talking, that oftentimes I am just completely flabbergasted by the approach that young men have towards scriptures because of the contemporary environment that they're in connection with. So me being in connection with them keeps me in connection with the environment that they're familiar with. Because as we get older, not only older, as we get in the eyes of people more accomplished, then we become more iconoclastic in their eyes. Not that, because one of my chief statements is, and what I live my life by, is never act as if what you have received is something that you have achieved. And that's because the greatest theologian of all times, indisputably, is Paul. And he said, I am that I am by the grace of God. Today, the iconoclastic Hollywood type of pastor, and which I fall in the category too, is that people give you an iconoclastic sort of a proclivity they have towards that. And at the end of the day, we're just like everybody else. But what happens is they isolate you. But actually they're calling themselves insulated. You can't get to the pastor, he's busy, he's tired, you can't touch him, he leaves before church is over, so he's insulated. But if you insulate him, you isolate him. And if you isolate him, then he no longer knows what people need. So he just tell them what he knows.
My God.
And to tell you what I know might not be what you need.
So that's why you stay connected.
Have to stay connected. The neurotic, the artists, and the preachers have to feel the change of the time. I mean, when Tina Turner sang, "What Did Love Have to Do with It?" It wasn't because she was so melodious or because she was a pulchritude splendor. It was because she was in touch with the love of the times, the free, the sex, and then so her song was, "What Does Love Have to Do with It?" became #1 around the world because she was in touch. The neurotic, he flees when changes are made because he's living on the edge. And the preacher, if he is not in touch with what goes on in his world, he's obsolete. He's of no significance.
Wow. That is so...
Relevance. And I tell you another thing too, that we could argue, and that is sometimes we're so caught up with our identity, we cease to be relevant. Jesus was so relevant, they didn't even know he was God.
My God.
Didn't even know he was God.
It seems to me you're a lyricist. Your words are like poetry.
Well, I studied English literature, and I studied under the British, Hilary Belloc, Lord Tennyson.
My God.
I did even a little American poetry, Longfellow. And his heart was hot within like a living coal. His heart was.
My God.
Elizabeth
Do you know
Browning.
a little bit? Do you know a little bit of Shakespeare?
Shakespeare, As You Like It.
My goodness.
I did that. Macbeth.
the entire genre.
I had to do it. Had to do it.
Absolutely.
Didn't like it. Had to study Latin.
Did you say you didn't like it?
You know.
You sound like you
the
enjoyed
boys.
it.
I read poetry to my kids. Hilary Belloc. Matilda told such dreadful lies, it made one gasp and stretch one's eyes. Her aunt, who in her earliest youth had kept a strict regard for truth, attempting to believe Matilda, the effort almost nearly killed her. So, you know, I had to do all
Do
of
people
that.
know that side of you?
And,
They don't.
not too many.
I'm enjoying this because I think you're in a state of glee right now and bliss,
Yes.
having come from that glory cloud.
Well.